Imagine a world where survival is a luxury, love is rebellion, and every breath is a gamble, and a mother who defied death, disaster, and despair for the chance to give her daughter a future. Welcome back to Mind Blown Movies. Explained, where we dive deep into the most intense and emotionally gripping films out there. Today, we're breaking down a haunting survival story that will shake you to your core. This is the full, spoiler-packed explanation of a movie that blends dystopia, loss, and a mother's relentless will to survive. Let's talk about Mia's harrowing journey in the face of apocalypse. In a dystopian near-future Spain, the world has collapsed into chaos. A massive global crisis has led to a catastrophic shortage of food, water, and basic necessities. And as if starvation wasn't terrifying enough, the Spanish government has devolved into a violent authoritarian regime, one that's targeting its own people in a genocidal effort to preserve what little remains. Mia and Nico, a young couple expecting a child, are desperate. They've already experienced the worst kind of loss. Their firstborn daughter, Uma, was ripped from their arms during the government's mass extermination campaign targeting children, the elderly, and pregnant women. Uma is presumed dead, and while Nico carries a quiet rage, Mia is drowning in guilt, believing it's her fault they lost her. Their only hope? Escape. They've heard whispers on the radio. Ireland, Iceland, and Norway, the last democratic sanctuaries in Europe. Nico arranges for them to be smuggled onto a cargo ship. The plan? Hide in a shipping container and cross the sea to Ireland. But nothing ever goes to plan in this world. Right before departure, the smugglers force Nico into a separate container. The couple is split. Then, a military checkpoint chaos erupts. Upon investigation, the general realizes that the length of the container from outside doesn't match that of the inside, implying that there is a secret compartment. He announces that unless the people in the secret compartment step out, he's going to open fire randomly on everyone. Fearing the worst, Mia uses this opportunity to hide atop a sack of crates. Just as he is about to order the soldiers to open fire, a door opens and a terrified woman walks out. Without hesitation, the general shoots her in the head and orders the soldiers to open fire. Soldiers begin executing everyone inside the containers mercilessly, except for a dog that runs out and a child who is left standing in the midst of the bodies. The screen goes dark as a gunshot is heard, indicating that they shot the child. Miraculously, Mia survives by hiding atop a stack of crates. The soldiers soon pull out all the bodies one after another. Mia is left alone to sob in the container that has been mounted onto a cargo ship. As final inspection is being carried out, Mia takes out her phone to try contacting her husband, Nico, who was earlier separated from her during a reshuffling of passengers in the containers. On the other side of the phone, Nico comforts her and tells her to keep calm and not worry, as the containers are all headed for the same destination and they'll meet there. For now, she must save battery. Now Mia is left alone, terrified, and on a ship bound for nowhere. As if that wasn't enough, she soon wakes up to a violent storm strikes. She looks out through the holes left behind by the bullets and finds out she's already on the high sea. The crew on the ship begin to panic. Containers crash into the ocean like dominoes, and Mia's is one of them. Inside the containers, Mia fights for survival before she gets knocked out. Sometime later, she wakes to a calmer environment. She looks out throughout the bullet holes and sees the weather is a lot clearer. But also notices the ship sank and several other containers are sinking around her, including the one she's inside. Immediately, she takes out her phone to contact her husband, but the screen got damaged during the moment of turmoil. She finds another phone in her belongings, but she doesn't know the password to activate it. Frustrated, Mia screams in despair. Just when she is thinking of ending things, that's the moment the baby kicks again, giving her reason to live on. Inside the falling metal tomb, Mia fights for survival. Her container is slowly filling with water, but she's resourceful. It's carrying a bizarre mix of items: Tupperware, TVs, vodka bottles, earphones, hoodies, the corporate junk of a dying world. At one point, she hears screams. Peeping through a bullet hole, she sees another container, just meters away, filled with people. They're drowning. It's a haunting image. Helpless humanity sinking just beyond reach, and she thinks it's the container Nico was inside. But Mia can't help them. She can barely help herself. She tries desperately to make contact, but no one seems to hear her. She tries the phone again to contact Nico, but he doesn't pick up, and the container sinks. The metal box keeps sinking, but all she can do for now is to sob in mourning for her husband and make use of the resources at her disposal. She considers ending things by herself, but at that time, the baby begins to kick, giving her a reason to live on. Few moments later, Mia wakes up to water filling up the container very fast. Yet despite her desperate attempt for survival, she begins to drown. Just then, she wakes up, revealing it was just a nightmare. When Mia wakes up, she notices a crate in the distance, one she hasn't looked at yet. But when she finally opens it, the contents are of no big use as it only contains empty plastic containers. Nevertheless, she uses what's at her disposal to block the holes in the container and try reducing the water inside. She salvages for more supplies left behind by the other passengers. A lighter and a salvaged drill, tape and penknife is all she could find. She begins to MacGyver her way to survival. After 2 days, a miracle happened, Nico calls. He's alive. He's trying to reach her. For a brief moment, there's hope, but fate isn't done twisting the knife. He says he couldn't pick because his phone was low. He didn't embark on the cargo ship because they got scammed by the smuggler who dumped them outside the city. He vows to save her and tells her to hang on and to save battery for now. That same night, as lightning flashes and rain slams the container, Mia goes into labor. Alone, in a floating death box, in the middle of a storm. Through unimaginable pain, she gives birth to a baby girl, Noah, who she names after her grandmother. And something inside Mia changes. She fights now, not just to survive, but to protect this child with every last ounce of her soul. Even as delusions of Uma haunt her, even as she resorts to eating her own baby's placenta to survive, even as the water continues to rise inside the boat, Mia gets an idea. She uses the drill to drill some hole at the top of the container, but the drill runs out of battery before the hole is big enough yet for her to escape. She gulps her last supply of fresh water. A frustrated Mia starts to throw things around and about, expressing her anguish. At a critical moment, she finds a Swiss knife and proceeds to use it to cut through the container, but hurts herself instead. Exhaustion kicks in. Despite her pain, she keeps slicing through the thick, sinking metal box. After some days, she runs out of supplies and results in eating her baby's placenta in a desperate attempt for survival. As if that's not enough, a whale knocks the container, causing her baby to cry. This enrages the mother, who banks at the walls of the container, scaring the whale away. From the marks she made on the walls of the container, it's been 6 days and not very much long before the death box finally sinks. The cry of the baby pushes her will to survive even further as she proceeds to cut through the metal with the knife. But the worst happens. The knife breaks. Her phone does not work, and she is out of supplies. In the scorching heat of the day, her fresh water is finished. She gets an idea, though. She gets some seawater and uses it to cool herself from the heat of the day. And she's freezing in exhaustion when she notices some water at the roof of the container. She desperately licks it and collects as much as she can, but this later makes her sick. Out of ideas, she lays down to rest, but fate is no done with her yet as rain begins to fall. She collects as much water as she can. In the process of collecting the water, she picks up a can of sardines. The lid breaks, giving her a bold idea. She ties a rope around the holes at the ceiling of the container, and with the last bit of her strength, she pulls it down, finally ripping open the metal container, allowing some sunlight inside. This means a lot to her, and it can be seen from her reaction. Mia punches a hole through the roof and climbs out. Just to confirm there is no land in sight, she climbs out with Noah to take some fresh air and changes the baby. When it's time to change the baby, she throws a piece of her hoodie in the water, but this ends up attracting some fishes. So Mia rushes to grab some ropes and a piece of metal to try fishing. No matter how much she tries, she can't catch a single fish. After several failed attempts, she gives up. Mia suddenly notices an airplane flying by and immediately rushes in to break a television screen, getting a piece of its screen. But in a hurry, she accidentally hurts her left leg when trying to climb out quickly to the top of the container. Mia ignores the pain for now and uses the screen piece to reflect the sunlight, but her efforts are in vain as the plane doesn't see her and goes away. A disappointed Mia goes back inside the container to stitch herself up using parts from broken TVs and sterilizes the wound with vodka. Hardcore doesn't even begin to describe it. No. It's a very painful process, so she makes use of some alcohol. In the aftermath of these events, she sees hundreds of earpods and gets another idea. She uses the earpods to make a net. And when it's done, with a dirty piece of cloth, she throws it in the water and finally manages to catch some fish, which she eats raw. Mia saves some of the fish in the plastic containers for future purposes. It's the 9th day in a sinking metal death box, but Mia is relentless. She doesn't quit and keeps releasing some water from the container out to the surrounding ocean. Her desire to live is greater than one would expect. She tears pages from her diary, writes numerous survival letters on it, and throws it out to the vast ocean. She shows pictures of her family to Noah and tells her about them in a conversation with the newly born. Soon after, Nico calls her, but all is not well. During an attempt to steal a boat, he got shot by the military but managed to escape. At the moment, he is bleeding and not sure if he can hold up much longer. In a very emotional moment, She holds the phone up close to Noah so she can hear her father's voice and he can hear her squill. He tells Mia he loves her, that he's proud of her, and that he'll always be with them even if just in spirit.
El pesado que te apretaba el pie cuando estabas en la tripa de mamá tan a gusto. Oye, cierra los ojos y pégate al cuello de tu mamá un rato. Verás cómo en ese trocito todo estará bien. Siempre.
He hangs up and she bursts out crying for the loss of her loved one. Mia is crushed, but she doesn't stop. She can't stop. It's day 26 and the water has reached its limit. She doesn't have much time because the container is about to sink. As the container sinks, Mia constructs a raft from the junk inside. She gives it a test and it seems to work. As she's building the vessel, she notices a seagull eating her fish. This could only mean one thing: a dry land is nearby. She completes the vessel and is prepared to set out sail when she remembers her family photos and a Snickers bar she was to eat at the end of the journey are still in the container. In a desperate attempt to save what is left of them, she takes a touchlight and dives into the sinking metal box. She finally gets what she was looking for, but at what cost? The raft is drifting away with a helpless baby inside. The container meets its end. It's finally sinking to the bottom of the ocean, with the mother trapped inside by some of the ropes she used earlier. Using a piece of metal, she finally cuts free from the bondage and swims to the surface of the sea, just in time before she could drown. At the surface, Mia cannot find Noah. The baby drifted away when she went back into the container. The wail from earlier comes back and flashes some water around, some on the baby causing her to cry out loud. The mother hears the cry of the baby and swims to the direction of the sound, finally reuniting with the young one. She ties herself and Noah to the raft and drifts across the endless ocean. She passes out from exhaustion, and now it's the dawn of a new day. With her last ounce of energy, Mia says what appears to be her last prayer. Before letting out the fish she caught earlier, attracting many seagulls. Many more seagulls engulf her, and then salvation. A fishing boat, its crew spotting the seagulls and then the baby, pulls the baby aboard. But Mia is nowhere to be found. Just then, the couple notices that tied to the raft is a rope which they pull out to find an unconscious Mia. They find Mia unconscious, barely alive, left with no choice. They perform CPR. At first, it seems in a moment of pure cinematic beauty, she breathes. Mia and Noah are taken ashore to Ireland, a land of safety, a land of second chances. Mia, once broken and burdened by guilt, has become a symbol of resilience, a mother who defied death, disaster, and despair for the chance to give her daughter a future. This is not just a survival film, it's a story of unimaginable loss and unwavering love, of human endurance pushed to the edge and still refusing to break. If this movie shook you like it did us, leave a comment below with your favorite scene or theory. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another jaw-dropping movie breakdown. Until next time, this is Mind Blown Movies Explained signing off.